Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Meg's Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and to today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is a series I've thought about doing in the past. I think I may have done one film review for it in the past. But I want to start it up again because I want to talk about the films that I love the most. So these are my favourite films of all time. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because I want to go more in depth with those films. So sort of like my thoughts, why they're my favourite parts, you know, things like that. So of course, I thought in honour of Renfield coming out this weekend, well, today, I thought I would review Fright Night. This is a film I've always wanted to do a full review on the channel. But I've only done an original versus remake for it. I haven't actually done separate reviews for him. So I've also decided at the same time to review my favourite franchises. So of course, with this being my favourite movie review I'm doing today, I will also be reviewing the other 4 Fright Night films. Other three. So let's get into my review of Fright Night. So this is the original, the one that started it all. This came out in 1985. Or one of the two. But this is basically the first ever vampire movie I watched, and this was the movie that got me into vampires. So just to give you a very quick plot summary, we are following the character of Charlie. He believes his next door neighbour, Jerry Dandridge, is a vampire. He then is trying to convince his friend Amy and Ed that he's also a vampire. And then he also gets involved Peter Vincent, the famous vampire killer, from off the TVs and movies. I'm not going to say any more than that. I know this is a classic, it's an oldie, but I'm not going to say any more on the plot because I think you need to watch it to fully enjoy it. So, I remember, the first memory of this is, I remember my nan having this on VHS, and I'm fairly certain she had the second one as well. They had very unique, distinct covers, and I loved it. And I thought, why not give it a watch? You know, my nan used to record things on VHS as well, things like that. So I thought, why not give this a watch? I watched it, fell in love with it instantly. Not just the film, but with the vampires, the mythology of vampires, you know, everything about this film I fell in love with. I mean, for starters, the effects are all practical pretty much. There's like a couple of bits that are CGI, couple of bits that are green screen that can look a bit dated. However, they stick to practical effects and practical makeup so much. And I miss that about films. I miss when they used to do just practical effects all the time. I think it makes it look more realistic. It looks so much better. And this is one of the films that I seriously recommend you watch if you want to see some really good practical effects. So it's not just that, it is the storyline. I love the plot of this. I mean, it's about a boy who thinks his next door neighbour is a vampire. You know, when you're someone that's obsessed with vampire movies, shows, things like that, you can understand why he's paranoid. And it's a fun storyline to follow. There's a part with Jerry and Amy that's sort of like a side thing, but it's basically his past love resembles her, and it's sort of like a romance tied in with a creepy vampire, tied in with the supernatural. So it's all little things. It's not just one genre. You can watch this and you can laugh. You can love the romance, even if it's between 2 different characters, you know, the little love triangle that goes on. So it's not just that as well. It is also the fact of they stick to the classic mythology of vampires. Stake through the heart, sunlight, you know, holy water, crosses. Nowadays, you get things like daylight rings, like in the Vampire Diaries, or you get vampires that sparkle. Those films and TV shows just don't feel as real as what something like this does. I also love all the characters in this. They have all got such unique personalities. I mean, you've got Charlie, who is the one that's suspicious of everything, and you can see him starting to lose his way and just sort of like, he wants everybody to believe him, but nobody's believing him. It's that kind of character. Amy is Charlie's girlfriend, main love interest. That's also Jerry's resemblance of a past lover. So she's sort of like that sweet next door girl, however, vampire hypnotism, things like that. So you can see her change throughout the film, and especially near the end during a certain scene. It's sort of like that's where the practical effects watch it. And the funny part is that when they did that scene, Charlie, the person that plays him, I think it's William Ragsdale, he didn't get to see the makeup on her face beforehand, so that reaction is his general reaction. Love that. But then you've got Ed, who's the comic relief. He's that side character, that the best friend. He's obsessed with horror as he is, but he's also a little bit loopy, a little bit funny, so he's that best friend, that kooky best friend. And then you've got Jerry Dandridge, who's the sexy vampire. I mean, not gonna lie, I had a crush on him for many, many years, and I still do. I would not say no to that vampire. Jerry, if you were to say hello, I would not turn you away. And it's not just that as well, he's suave. He put his own thing to the role. He's played by Chris Sarandon, and he made it like there was. I think if you watch the documentary "You're So Cool, Brewster," you learn that Chris had made the role his own, and he ate fruit because obviously vampires can turn into bats sometimes, and he went with a fruit bat. So when you see him eating fruit, it's resemblance of that. And it's so weird. And then obviously you got Billy. Now, he's the weirdest character of them all. Like, he's definitely a creature, but you have no idea what creature he is. Because he can walk around in the daylight, he can do things. But then yet, when they try and kill him later on in the film, it doesn't seem to work out. So, and I also like the fact that when you do watch that documentary about this film, you learn that Tom Holland, the director of this, you learn that he didn't specify what creature he was. He's left it up to people's imaginations. I still can't figure it out. I'm thinking zombie, but he's a very well-looking zombie. But I could be wrong. But yeah, so you've got all these fun characters that you get to follow, and there's some really fun one-liners in here. I mean, there's welcome to Fright Night for real, so, and there's also the "You're So Cool, Brewster." So there is some lines in here that you do remember. There are scenes that stick in your head. Soundtrack, the music to this is amazing. Not just the songs that they pick, especially during the club's dance scene. There's a song that I'm obsessed with in that scene. But it's also the musical score. Like, whenever we get to see Jerry do anything, there's like this unique score behind him, and it fits in with the movie so well. And it's just such an epic and classic and cheesy 80s vampire film. If you haven't watched it, I seriously recommend that you do, because it is just... it's the best kind of vampire film. It sticks to the mythology of vampires. I love it when they do that. If it weren't for this film, I'm not sure if I would have got into vampires sooner, because soon after I watched Buffy with my mum. So if it weren't for this film, I'm not sure how soon I would have gotten into vampires. But I'm glad this was the one that started me off on the vampire trend, because I think if it had been something like Twilight, I think I would have been really gutted in myself, because I would have been like, this is a classic. But if you have not seen the original Fright Night, I seriously recommend you do, just because of the plot, the characters, the music, the effects. Basically, everything about this movie is just amazing. Is it cheesy? Yes. It's an 80s movie. All 80s movies are pretty much cheesy. But it's the good kind of cheesy. And yeah, I always like to revisit this whenever I can, because it is just such a classic for me, and I just cannot get over how much I always enjoy this film. Every time I rewatch it, I've got so many of the lines in my head, I reckon I could say about 80% of it by now. And it's not just that. I want to get the 4K version of this. It's only in America at the moment, but hopefully I'll get it eventually. Because I would like to see how this would come out in 4K. Because I reckon it would look amazing in 4K. But no, Fright Night. If you have not seen the original, 1985 or 4, I'm not sure, please go and watch it. If you like your supernatural, if you like your vampires, and if you want a good practical effects movie, this is one I recommend. So that is my review of Fright Night. Like I said, I will be doing reviews for the other 3 films in this franchise, and I'll also be doing more reviews in the future of my favourite movies. So things like Titanic, Back to the Future, Nightmare on Elm Street, all the films that I absolutely love the most, Ghostbusters, Grease, Hocus Pocus, all the films that influence my movie choices. Because I feel like it's those films that you gravitate towards the most when it comes to new releases. Like when I heard about Renfield, literally because of that, my need to watch vampires, I was like, right, Renfield, gotta go watch it, it's a vampire film. Day Shift, when that came out last year with Jamie Foxx on Netflix, as soon as I saw it as a vampire film, I had to watch it. So this is where my love for vampires started, and it's just amazing. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on the original Fright Night if you have seen it. If you have not seen it, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time.